Hi all, welcome back to the Monder Mix. Today I'm going to go through a review of the new Kellin Quinn project, Haunted Mouths. Now, this to me came out of nowhere, like it wasn't on my radar. Like I heard the first single and I was like, this is very different. So when I got the chance to listen to the album, I was like, this is right up my street, I can't wait to hear this. But for anyone who doesn't know who Kellin Quinn is the singer from Sleeping with Sirens. Kellin Quinn almost has the Travis Barker golden touch, where whatever Kellin Quinn features on is always an absolute hit. Pierce the Veils, King for a Day, and Love Race by Machine Gun Kelly. Like even that Love Race song was my top song for that year on Spotify, so unreal. But yeah, this album is completely removed from Sleeping with Sirens, so people who think that's what they're going to get with this album, it's not at all. There is very few times where you get the quintessential Kellin Quinn Sleeping with Sirens vocals. They do crop up through the album, but I think this is a good showcase of what Kellin Quinn can actually do other than what we know Kellin Quinn can do. So the album comes out on Valentines Day, so if you're watching this today, it's a couple of days from now, and I think it's a perfect day to do it, because the album to me is a complete love letter to someone, whether that's a partner or whatever. There's so much beautiful moments in it. There's a lot of like references to love, there's a lot of references to relationships. Like, it's very good. If you're a fan of the Silver Sun pickups, or if you've ever heard of them, you will love this album. Like it gave me that kind of vibe, but also had its own kind of identity. It wasn't like, to me it didn't feel like a rip off of the Silver Sun pickups. It just had that kind of like chilled but moody, atmospheric, acoustic vibe album. But at the same time, it's not an acoustic album, and I'll try to get to that, what I mean by that. The album to me is almost like a soundscape with some very beautiful lyrics throughout the whole content. A few of the songs actually swell in, which I like, where it's like an extended intro. Maybe it's just like a drony note that leads into it, and that builds to like some form of suspense. And sometimes that suspense just isn't there, which is cool, because it leads you down one path and you think, oh, I'm gonna get something. Oh, then it drops into like some like melancholy kind of a chill beat. But then it goes the other way with some. So we'll try and get. I've got some notes here. I'll go through some of the songs, but I just want to give some overview first. The instrumentation throughout the album is completely mixed. Like, there's a lot of like vintage kind of sounding, what you would expect kind of instruments, like guitar, drums, bass, whatever. But then there'll be a lot of like heavy synth. Like, there's a saxophone solo in there. Like, there's loads of stuff that's just like, whoa. This project is very fresh, and to me, I was very excited to hear it. Again, as I said, when I heard the first single, I was like, give me more of this. And when I heard the album, I felt this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Because sometimes you get like people dropping a single and then the album goes the other way, where it felt like a journey the whole way through it, which was class. The instrumentation actually made the album feel very fresh, and what I mean by that is there was not two songs in a row to me that felt like the same as the last one. Like, they mixed up the songs. There was some, even like there was a dance beat somewhere in one of them, like very faint, but I was like, whoa, Kellin's actually trying something really, really new and fresh here, and it was very exciting to hear. It's a very deep album, and as I said, it's a complete love letter to someone, and yeah, it's perfect time to bring it out, really. There's a lot of reverb and delay throughout the whole thing, whether it's on the instruments or the vocals, and it feels very haunting. And that has to be deliberate. That can't just be me thinking, oh, that's a happy mistake. That it gives you that kind of like, whoa, there's a lot of space in the songs, but the tracks actually mix very, very well. Like, very, very good production on it across the board. And it was good to see a different side to his vocals. Like, on the run up to this, like, I was listening to a lot of Sleeping with Sirens. I was like, yeah, this brings me back to my emo days. Like, to be fair, I've never left them. But to hear a singer in that world do something completely different was so nice and so fresh, and it was so exciting, to be honest. The drums to me was the standout changes across the album. Like, there'd be different vibes probably every song, and that, again, I used the word fresh, I kept it fresh. Sometimes the drums felt like it was fighting against the arrangement, but it felt like it was fighting against the arrangement on purpose. So in that context, it very much worked. I'm just going to read a note out that Kellin said about the project, and it was, I didn't want to make a pop album or an acoustic record. It needed to be dark, droney, haunting, but beautiful. And that is exactly what it was. Like, I heard that quote after the first listen of the album, and I thought, you've smashed it. That's exactly what it is. But I'm going to go run down some of the tracks here. I don't want to spoil too much for people because it'll be coming out on Friday and you should listen to it. But I just want to give my opinion on it. But yeah, let's just get cracking on here. So Further Till We Disappear was the single, and again, fresh. Completely fresh. Didn't expect it. It was so slowed down from what I was expecting, and I kind of thought, right, it was a good way to introduce this project to me, and I got excited with it. So I heard the single first, like everyone else. I've had it on repeat since its release, and I just think it's brilliant. Again, dark but beautiful. That's how I felt the single was when I heard it. I thought it was brilliant. Then the next song's Tunnel Vision. It has like a dark 80s synth at the start, and it fits very well. Like, you're almost like, what's coming next? I want more. But it's also a very calming track. Like, it was very laid back, it was very stripped down, loved it. The chorus gives both fun and haunting vibes at the same time, and when you listen to it, you'll know exactly what I mean. And the backing vocals are creepy. That's all I'll say. I just had them with headphones on, and I was like, this is creepy. I'm all for this. There's a heavy reverb trail on one of on the drum track, and it just fights against the arrangement, as I said before, and it works so well. It's brilliant. So that's Tunnel Vision. Thought it was a great song. The next song, Casting Over Them. This is a more rougher sounding track in the verses than most of the album, but then it's stripped back in the chorus, which really works with the lyrical themes. And it's the first time in the album, and granted it's only track 3, that you do kind of get a quintessential Kellin Quinn vocal type, and it's kind of expected because it's his album, but like, it was cool that it was 3 tracks in. There was a distorted guitar, and it was fighting against the arrangement, and again, it just worked. It was so cool. I really liked it. I'm going to say the word fresh the whole way through this, but it was fresh. It was lovely, and it was kind of needed, really. Then there's Searching for a Fire, which starts off almost like a beautiful kind of acoustic song, and then at 1 minute 30-ish, there's like a dance drum beat. To me, it's like a back. I don't know if it's called a backbeat or a breakbeat. I don't know, but it doesn't feel like that beat should be there. But again, in context to this haunting kind of different vibe, it really worked. It's a standout for me. It really is. I think when I listened to the album in entirety, it was the first song that I went back to go, what the hell was that? I really want to hear that again. So that was cool. That was really cool. A Collection of Greetings is next, and it just gave me City and Colour vibes straight off the bat, which I'm all for. I love City and Colour. I love that kind of like really beautiful music, but when you delve into the lyrics, maybe they're a bit too dark. Not maybe too dark, but maybe dark enough. So yeah, this song straight off the bat made me go, oh, maybe there's where the inspiration for that comes from. Big fan of using brushes on the drums. Always think if you're going to mix an album up with some different techniques, like the drums sometimes get overlooked, and in this regard, no, I think the drums, apart from the vocals, drums were class the whole way through this, but the brushes was just like, oh cool, there's another change in this. And this song is such a love note to someone, you could just tell, and it was lovely. And again, the Valentine's Day theme helps that they're going to bring it out on Valentine's Day. It's pretty cool. Love that. So Particular is next. It's one of the most upbeat tracks on the album itself. It's very simple, but it does give a very band theme when there's some songs where it just feels like there's just vocals in this, such and such and this, such and such and this. This gives a full band theme. Lovely song. This to me had my favourite chorus on the album, and it was stuck in my head. It was a little earworm throughout the day. This could potentially be the next single. I don't know, but to me, if I was picking a single, it would probably be this. Next song is Meanwhile, and it gives another major synth vibes. I'm all for it. Like, I might look like all I want is drums, bass, guitar and vocals, but sometimes you just need some really cool 80s synth, and this hits so good. And again, great placement on the album for it. It fits very well. That 80s kind of heavy reverb on the drums, it just hits like Phil Collins kind of gated drums. Perfect. There's a distorted lead guitar solo, so I'm all in for that as well. Perfect. The guitar solo lends itself to the track, and it mixes the genre a wee bit up, but with a really strong theme to the song. Becoming Nameless has a saxophone solo. I'm all for it. That's it. No more needs to be said about that. But yeah, it's a nice slow chill track, and then a bloody saxophone solo comes in, and it's just the instrumentation across the board with this is fantastic. Like, if you asked me to guess what would happen on a Kellin Quinn solo album, none of this. So this is just so cool. Then the last song, You Built This has my favourite lyrics across the whole of the album. Like, I've had really standout choruses, standout verses, but for a full song, this is it. It's so good, and it's a great way to end the album, to be fair. It's a slow build, like it builds up to the band coming in and more instruments, and it's almost a minute long, but it doesn't feel like, right, hurry up here. It feels like, oh, there's a gradual, boom, there we go, and it's just cool. And to know it's like the last song of the album, you kind of are expecting something big, and it does deliver. It's class. There's like a bass fade at the end that to me just resolves the whole album, and I loved it. I've said fresh because it's the only real word I can kind of give for this. I thought it was brilliant. I've played it to death. I can't wait for everyone else to hear it. Go listen to the single now in prep for Friday. And on Friday I want to know everyone's standout tracks. Let me know what you liked, what you think might be the next single, and more importantly, if Kellin tours this, I think we should see it. I think people need to go on the road to see this, because I think with the arrangement and the instruments that could be taken on tour, this could be very, very interesting for people Sleeping with Sirens fans and not Sleeping with Sirens fans. It's fresh. I've said it again. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do all that there stuff. Do it if you want. And have a great day. And if you're watching this on Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. See you now.